Imagine this. You wake up, step outside, and nearly every path leads to a breathtaking, sun-drenched sea view. The Mediterranean dream, right? But what if that dream came with a hidden price tag, a divided heart, and a lifestyle that whispers, slow down, while the world outside rushes on? Many are drawn to Cyprus, envisioning an EU paradise, but stumble upon a reality far more complex and, frankly, more fascinating. Is it truly the idyllic haven, or is there a catch? We're about to peel back the layers, beyond the tourist brochures. Stay with me, and let's uncover the real Cyprus, the one that might just change how you see island living. Alright, let's get our bearings. Cyprus. It's nestled in the eastern Mediterranean, a sun-kissed stepping stone just south of Turkey, so close, in fact, only about 71 kilometers or 44 miles of shimmering sea separates them. This proximity isn't just geographical, it's deeply woven into the island's modern story. You see, the northern third of this island is governed by what's called the Turkish Republic of Northern Cyprus. Now here's the kicker, this entity is only officially recognized by Turkey itself. The rest of the world, especially the European Union, doesn't have formal diplomatic ties with it. Then there's the southern part, the Republic of Cyprus. This is the internationally recognized nation, a full-fledged member of the EU and the Cyprus most of the world knows. It thrives on trade, and its people are predominantly of Greek origin. You'd be right to think their culture, their very ethnic roots, echo mainland Greece, even though it's about 900 kilometers away. The whole island has a population of around 1.5 million, a cozy number for a European nation. But perhaps the most mind-bending thing about Cyprus, something truly unique on a global scale, is its capital, Nicosia. It's the world's last divided capital city. Picture this, one city, shared, yet split, between Greek Cypriots in the south and Turkish Cypriots in the north, right smack in the island's center. This division isn't just lines on a map, it's a tangible daily reality, a legacy of the 1974 conflict that fractured the island. While we won't dive deep into the decades of complex history right now, understanding this fundamental split is key to understanding Cyprus. It shapes everything from politics to the very psyche of the place. It's a constant, quiet reminder of a wound that hasn't fully healed even amidst the undeniable beauty. Now, stepping away from the political lines, let's talk about the vibe, the pulse of Cypriot life. If there's one phrase you'll hear, one philosophy that permeates the air, it's Siga Siga. It literally means slowly, slowly. Take life slowly, don't rush, enjoy the moment, embrace calmness. It's not just a saying, it's a way of life. And maybe, just maybe, it's why Cypriots tend to live longer, often reaching their 90s, seemingly unburdened by the relentless stress that plagues so many other societies. You'll see it in how appointments might start a little late, how lunch can stretch into a leisurely affair, or how problem-solving takes a more deliberative pace. For someone used to a hyper-efficient, clock-punching culture, it can be an adjustment, but there's a certain wisdom to it, isn't there? However, this idyllic, slow-paced paradise comes at a cost, literally. Cyprus isn't the cheapest place to hang your hat. Being an island, agriculture and industrial production face limitations you don't find on the mainland. So, a lot of goods from your morning cereal to your new laptop have to be imported by sea or air, and that bumps up the prices. Tourism, the island's lifeblood, also plays its part, especially when it comes to real estate and everyday shopping in popular areas. Take Limassol, for example, a vibrant, sought-after city on the southern coast. Stunning Mediterranean views? Absolutely. Affordable apartments? Not so much. Finding anything decent for less than €800 a month is a real challenge. Real estate agents might even flag anything cheaper as a risky bet, too far from the center, or perhaps in less than ideal condition. Renting is steep too. Think about €50 per square meter. So, a tiny 25 square meter studio? You could easily be looking at over €1,000 a month. Ouch. But don't despair. You don't have to settle in the priciest spot. Village-style settlements like Mandria in the southwest offer good quality apartments for around €500 a month. And yes, the currency is the euro. So while Siga Siga might soothe the soul, your wallet needs to be prepared. We're talking groceries, utilities, a night out, it all adds up, often more than you'd expect compared to some other European spots. It's a crucial factor if you're dreaming of more than just a holiday here. So, what's the daily grind like in this Siga Siga land? Well, Cypriots tend to be early risers. Many are up around 6 a.m. and by 9 a.m. they're at work. A huge chunk of the population, as you might guess, is involved in tourism, either directly slinging cocktails or indirectly supplying the hotels. Tourism is the engine that keeps this island humming, with both locals and visitors pumping money into the economy. But what happens when the summer sunseekers pack up and winter rolls in? The streets become noticeably quieter. Fewer tourists mean cafes and popular spots can look a bit deserted. The island exhales, taking on a much calmer, almost sleepy feel. Now, if you're thinking of doing business here, remember this: reputation and connections are gold. Greeks, and by extension Greek Cypriots, place immense value on trust. A recommendation from a friend or a colleague can open doors that a flashy proposal might not. It feels less like a cutthroat corporate jungle and more like a close-knit village, even in the cities. Speaking of size, you can zip from one end of the island to the other in about 2 hours by car. It's roughly 100 kilometers or 60 miles from its northernmost to southernmost point. If you were feeling particularly adventurous and stuck to accessible roads, you could theoretically walk across Cyprus in about 3 days. As for getting around, don't expect subways or an extensive train network. People rely on taxis, minibuses, and public buses. For expats looking to settle, this village feel can be both a blessing and a challenge. Integrating into the local business scene often means putting in the time to build those genuine relationships. It's not just about what you know, but who knows and trusts you. And while Greek is the official language, English is widely spoken, so you can generally handle most daily tasks and build social connections without being fluent in Greek, which is a huge plus for many. Let's talk about what truly makes a place: its flavors, its sounds, its people. Every Saturday there's a public market, and Cypriots will proudly tell you the products sold there are all natural, organic. The island's agriculture, especially in the Greek Cypriot south where the fertile lands mostly lie, is surprisingly productive. They grow incredible olives and make liquid gold olive oil, cultivate potatoes, carrots, and a bounty of other vegetables. And yes, they even make wine from their own vineyards. Many older folks attribute their long lives to these fresh, natural foods, especially that heart-healthy olive oil. Interestingly, while most people under 70 here don't seem to struggle with heart disease as much as in some other Western countries, they love their fatty meat, particularly lamb. This might seem counterintuitive for an island, but historically, Cypriots often lived in the central mountainous areas, away from the windy, less fertile coasts. Up there, they raised animals like goats and sheep. So, don't come expecting the locals to be feasting on fish daily. They're generally more into their animal meats. You absolutely have to try halloumi, that squeaky, salty cheese often grilled or fried, or a traditional meze, which is an incredible spread of small dishes that just keeps on coming. Culturally, there's a fascinating difference in beverage choice. Greek Cypriots? They're coffee drinkers through and through. It's hard to even find tea on many restaurant or cafe menus unless you're feeling under the weather. That's when tea usually makes an appearance. Turkish Cypriots, on the other hand, love their tea. It's one of those little distinctions that tells a bigger story. Then there are the people. Generally, they're friendly, talkative, not selfish or shy. They smile. This creates a positive atmosphere that surely contributes to their health and longevity. However, you'll notice a difference between generations. Those over 60 tend to be more traditional, sticking to the old ways. They might even refer to newcomers from other countries as xeno, meaning foreigner, and might not always be as outwardly welcoming. They like their comfort, and getting in touch with an older Cypriot landlord on a weekend via WhatsApp? Probably not happening. The younger generation, though, is generally more liberal, open-minded, and doesn't dwell as much on the island's political past or hold grudges. It's a society in gentle transition. Living on a beautiful Mediterranean island isn't all sunshine and smooth sailing, of course. Cyprus faces its own set of challenges. The hot, dry climate makes it prone to wildfires, and unfortunately, the firefighting system sometimes struggles to cope with large blazes. This has, understandably, made locals quite fearful of them. Dust storms also happen frequently, whipping across from nearby regions, damaging crops and homes, and turning the sky an eerie orange. And then there are the earthquakes. Cyprus is located in an active seismic zone. If you're not used to the ground occasionally trembling beneath your feet, it can be pretty frightening. Earthquakes here can be quite strong, and older buildings are especially vulnerable. This is one reason you'll rarely see towering skyscrapers. Most buildings are sensibly kept to no more than 2 or 3 stories. On a completely different note, Cyprus has earned a rather unusual nickname, the Island of Divorces. It's a bit of a running joke, but there's a stark statistic behind it. A 2019 study revealed that Cyprus has the highest divorce rate in the EU, with a staggering 9 out of every 1,000 married couples calling it quits. Why? Infidelity, particularly among those working in the booming tourism sector, is often cited as a common cause, with temptations apparently arising from interactions with visitors. It's a fascinating, if somewhat sobering, social dynamic. And we can't talk about modern Cyprus without mentioning the refugee situation. Being close to Africa and the Middle East, many, particularly from Syria, make their way here. Even if they arrive safely, it's often not the haven they expected. The Cypriot government may accept some, but they receive a small monthly allowance, around €200, and are often placed in small, remote towns, not the popular tourist areas. The fortunate ones might find low-paying jobs. As of 2023, there were an estimated 40,000 refugees here, a significant number for a small island, presenting ongoing social and economic questions. So, if you're seriously considering a longer stay or even a move, what about the nitty-gritty? Let's talk taxes. Cyprus is quite serious about them. For instance, if you want to buy something expensive, say over €10,000, you'll generally need to use a credit card or bank transfer. This is because, like many European countries, banks are a key way to track financial transactions for tax purposes. They even have a grave tax in some towns like Bafra if you plan on being buried there, a rather unique levy. However, don't let that scare you off entirely, because Cyprus is also considered a tax haven for many businesses. If you're a digital nomad working in e-commerce or other online ventures, you can potentially stay in Cyprus for up to 5 years without having to pay certain taxes, like the dividend tax. In many countries, when company shareholders take money from profits, they face a hefty tax, often around 10% or more. In Cyprus, for qualifying individuals and businesses, that dividend tax isn't charged. You'd still pay regular income tax, which varies from 20% up to 35% depending on your earnings. This makes it an attractive base for entrepreneurs wanting EU residency and relatively low business taxes. What about healthcare and education, especially if you have a family? The Republic of Cyprus has a general healthcare system, GESI, aiming to provide universal coverage. Expats who are residents and contribute socially can access it. There are also private healthcare options, which many opt for. Quality is generally good, aligning with EU standards, but like anywhere, experiences can vary. For education, there are public schools which primarily teach in Greek and a growing number of private international schools offering English language curriculums, though these come with significant fees. These are crucial considerations that often get overlooked in the initial paradise daydream. And getting around, as we touched on, is mainly by road. No trains, no extensive metro systems. It's buses, taxis, or your own car. This means traffic can be an issue in larger towns, especially during peak season. You can't walk far in Cyprus without tripping over history. It's always been a vital stop on maritime trade routes between Europe and Asia. Think about it, like Malta, it was a key destination for sea travelers, a place where goods were transferred and cultures met. Being larger than Malta, Cyprus held an even more strategic position, attracting permanent settlers and, inevitably, the attention of empires. The Romans were here, the Ottomans left a significant mark, and the British controlled the island for a long time. You can still see remnants of Venetian columns and bridges, whispering tales of past glories and conquests. In 1878, the British took administrative control, leasing it from the Ottomans. However, when the Ottomans sided with Germany in World War I, Britain annexed the island fully. Eventually, after a period of struggle, the island gained independence in 1960, but as we know, the path to a unified peace has been complex, leading to the events of 1974 and the division that persists today. This rich, layered history adds another dimension to understanding the island's character. It's not just a pretty beach. It's an ancient land with stories etched into its very stones. So, Cyprus. It's a land of warm sun and even warmer smiles, of Siga Siga and surprising complexities. It's an EU nation with a divided heart, a place where ancient history meets modern challenges, from the cost of paradise to the echoes of geopolitical fault lines. It's beautiful, yes, but it's also real, with quirks like Divorce Island and unique tax laws. It's undeniably more than just a holiday spot. What do you think? Does the allure of the Mediterranean lifestyle outweigh the complexities for you? Have you been to Cyprus, or is it on your list? I'd love to hear your thoughts and experiences in the comments below. And if you're curious about more deep dives into unique destinations like this, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss out. Thanks for exploring with me.